Good evening, I'm Meteorologist Jonathan Oh with the weather page in association with Western Pacific Weather. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are. This is now the evening update on Halola. It is no longer considered a typhoon in terms of its intensity. It is is no longer a strong typhoon. It is a severe tropical storm. The main reason is because it has weakened a bit in terms of its pressure. It has raised the pressure to 985 hectopascals. So its intensity is starting to diminish. In the process, the winds have also weakened just a bit. We are looking at wind estimation of 90 kilometers per hour with gusts up to 126 kilometers per hour. That's equivalent to 56 miles an hour, gusting to 79. So we are looking at what is considered a tropical storm even in the Atlantic Basin standards. So this storm is in a weaker state, which is a good thing to a degree. But I do want to point out that even though it is in a weakened state, it is bringing a lot of rainfall, and I will show that to you on the Doppler Radar imagery in just a bit. Also notice that this particular vantage point, making it look like that this storm may have touched the tip of Amami Island, and so we will have to get official confirmation on whether that has taken place, but it's looking like that this system is touching the tip here and brushing past it as it continues to move forward in time. Here's a look at the infrared satellite imagery, and I want to point out an interesting characteristic with this. We do have that main area of circulation of Halola, the severe tropical storm, but you may notice down further toward the south the second feature of clouds that are separating from the main circulation. So we are certainly seeing this system starting to fall apart just a bit, and so I don't think it's going to have much of an endurance of life as we go throughout the weekend and into Monday. By the time we go to Monday, I think we're going to talk about a much different story. The system, nothing like what it used to be. Now, I did want to show you this visible satellite imagery that was captured starting at 7 o'clock this morning until 7 o'clock this evening when the sun started to go down, and obviously you can see the shadows from the light disappearing here. But the beauty of a visible satellite imagery allows us to see these little tops, these little bubbles at the highest surface level. The thing about IR satellite imagery is it shows us the most intense in terms of cold tops because it measures the information based on temperatures. It uses sensors. But visible satellite imagery takes an actual physical picture, and there are features there that you can see that you cannot see on IR satellite. And when you look very closely, we can see some of these more intense locations on these cloud tops as this system continues to move over Okinawa and Amami Islands. And so I did want to share that with you because I thought that was a very interesting thing to notice, that this storm still had some this system had some intense storms located within it as it moved over the area. Now, we go back onto the IR satellite with the Avian Enhancement, and right near Amami Island, we're looking at these intense cores that are popping up on the system, that little red speck that pops up, some of the coldest portions of the system as it moves toward the north and northeast. Now, here's a look at the Doppler Radar imagery. Notice how much rain is falling, particularly over Takunoshima and also into the northern tip of Okinawa into Kunigami. These are very heavy bands of rain that continue to fall on top of these locations. These are intense rain bands, and I will show you some of the amounts that have fallen during the day in just a bit. The winds are still part of the story here, part of Amami Island, showing us winds blowing up to around 21 meters per second, which is about 76 kilometers per hour, 47 mile an hour winds. So this is at the ground level, and so this is the reason why we're telling folks, please make sure you're tying down your belongings. We don't want this type of weather to blow stuff around in the process. Now, also, even into portions of Takunoshima, we're seeing wind speeds at around 19 meters per second, or about 68 kilometers per hour, winds 43 miles an hour. Now, for many of you who are watching from Okinawa, you're going, well, the winds don't seem nearly as intense. Well, yeah, we're seeing weaker winds. Most of the focal point of it, as the storm brushes past Amami Island, the outer bands are going to be a little bit weaker. Those of you living nearby Kadena Air Base may be going, it's not really that intense around here. Well, thankfully, you're now in the outer bands of Halola as it continues to pull away. So I think that The worst of this system should be coming to an end for you as we progress through the rest of the evening as into the overnight period. Now, I did get a question online on whether Okinawa will get some rain coming up on Sunday. I think that you may be dealing with rain during the overnight period, maybe even to early morning hours. But as we progress through today's Sunday, I think we're going to see mainly a dry weather pattern for those of you living in Okinawa. And even in Amami, probably by the afternoon, you should start seeing the rain coming to an end, but you'll be dealing with some cloud cover for a little bit until the system takes off. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. These, the areas that I'm showing to you on here, these numbers, are the rainfall amounts for the past hour from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock this evening. I mean, part of Tokunoshima saw close to 97 millimeters of rainfall in just 1 hour. That's just, I mean, you're taking buckets and buckets of rain here taking place. And over the northern tip of Okinawa, we're seeing rain amounts at 15 millimeters. Earlier, we showed some areas here getting to close to 50 millimeters in that 1 hour period. Now, I did some calculations. Over a period of nearly 10 hours over in Tokunoshima, we saw 285 millimeters of rain. That's 11.2 inches of rainfall. That's a lot of rain. We're talking about major flooding issues if it's ponding in any particular location. Now, in the northern tip of Okinawa, we saw 230 millimeters of rainfall. A lot of it came a little bit earlier as the first wave of rain came through. Now it's shifting more toward the north and east of these islands. But that's still about 9 inches of rainfall during a span of about, let's see now, about 6 hours. We saw 9 inches of rain. So it's quite an intense rainfall taking place during this time period as the system continues to move over the Okinawa and Amami Islands. And now, here is the forecast track. Notice I mentioned again that the center location is brushing at that tip of Amami Island as it continues to move toward the north. Now, as we go through the overnight period, we're looking at the system pulling further and further away, expected to touch the far western islands off of Kyushu around Sunday evening around 6 o'clock. This system will continue to move into the Sea of Japan, but it will continue to deteriorate as it moves away from these islands and moving into the Sea of Japan. So for those of you who are dealing with this, you need to deal with the worst of the system, especially for the intense rainfall for the next few hours. And then we go into the overnight period and we should start seeing the rain starting to diminish for those of you living in the southern islands of Japan. So that's the latest coming out of the Western Pacific Weather Team. And if you do want to share with us at this point, if you haven't gotten any pictures, it's unlikely you'll be getting them because it's dark and we won't be expecting them. But if you happen to take some pictures during the daytime and want to share it with us, please share it on our Facebook page. Just look for our Western Pacific Weather Facebook page and send it in there. And of course, do it only when it's safe. And we want to make sure your safety is a priority. But hopefully these updates were helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And on behalf of the Western Pacific Weather Team, I'm Meteorologist Jonathan Oh. Hope you have a good day wherever you are.